It's bacon time, everybody. How's it going? This is Aaron Ludwig, aka Papa Bacon, and we're coming to you with Dads with Bacon talking sports on this May 22nd, 2025. We are in the heat of the NBA playoffs, NBA conference finals, as well as the NHL conference finals. In fact, I have the Minnesota OKC game, game number 2 of that series, with OKC leading 1-0. They're up by 4 right now, late in the second quarter. So let's bring in the guys tonight. We got TJ, we got Brad, and we got Charles. Suck. Oh, Charles, you're kind of our Woody Page. We'll call you the Woody Page of.
That is such a compliment to me,
I
man.
know.
He is like one of my all-time favorites.
You know what? That doesn't shock me at all.
Did your son write that, by the way, so you can have that back there? Because that looks like some great handwriting.
I can't see the whole thing because of the name block. What does it say? Suck it. What?
Suck it,
Suck it,
Canada.
Canada. Yeah.
Okay.
In stars green. The green didn't show too well, but yeah.
So to all of our sponsors up in Canada, we apologize right now, but that's Charles. Anyway, no, we don't have sponsors yet. What am I talking about? Anyway, hopefully that's coming up soon. So we're gonna get started here. I mean, we actually have a lot to talk about. Normally summertime is one of those times of the year where it's a little bit slower, because obviously for those people who have watched our show somewhat regularly, you'll know that we talk a lot of football, whether it's college football or NFL. But this weekend we've got, how many races going on with Memorial Day weekend? We got Indy 500, Coca-Cola 600,
4
different races. Yep.
We have 4.
The Monaco GP.
None more exciting than the Wiener 500.
Yep. Oh, we're gonna bring Ben on here. Hey, buddy. And let's not forget, we have the UFL week 9. I think that's the biggest thing of everything. I'm just kidding. All right, so let's get going here though with NBA playoffs. And one of the reasons I wanted to lead off is because for those of you that aren't in our private chat group that we have here for those that are on the show, you don't know this, but I've been giving Brad a lot of shit for his Pacers just because I hate them
A lot.
I feel a lot, and I feel torn here because Brad, I'll let you gloat here in just a second, but let me just do this. So, was it yesterday, the 21st, was the 9th anniversary of my dad's passing back in 2016, and one of the things that he always taught me as a sports fan, I pretty much everything about sports I got from my dad. And one of the things he taught me as a Green Bay resident and a Wisconsin native is that we never cheer for big city, like the big market teams. Like he told me when I was younger, we never cheer for New York teams, never cheer for LA teams, didn't matter what sport it was, it didn't matter. We didn't cheer for those teams. So I feel right now like I'm betraying him cheering for the Knicks against the Indiana Pacers. But at the same time, I'm looking at it going, we really don't have a rivalry. As a Bucks fan, we don't have a rivalry with the Knicks. We have one with the Pacers. It's grown into a rivalry, in my opinion, a very one-sided rivalry the last few years, but still a rivalry to the point where actually, and I may have mentioned this on the show in the past, Tyrese Halliburton went to the same high school in Oshkosh that my dad and pretty much all of my knock it off, Brad. You'll get your shot. Just wait. So pretty much all my dad's side of the family went to Oshkosh North, and that's where Tyrese went to high school. So I feel like I should be cheering for him. But there's something about that Indiana Pacers team that's just to me a little bit. They remind me very much of the Reggie Miller Pacers that talked a lot of shit and never had a championship to back up. Now this could be the year that they break through that, and Halliburton might be that guy. And they seem like a team of destiny, which is why I watched the game yesterday until it was 29-20 Indiana, and I actually shut it off because I was like, I can't watch this. I can't. I could watch any series if I don't have a team like a horse in the race, so to speak. If I don't have a team that I'm cheering for, I'll watch it. It's much more enjoyable that way. Brad, now I'm going to shut up. I'm going to let you talk about your Pacers here a little bit.
All right.
Oh boy, he's taking
Yeah,
notes.
boy, did you?
Taking
Yeah,
notes,
well, I
man.
did. I did take notes. I did. A few things like about that I want to say first about these Pacers in this playoff run is that you can never, ever, ever count them out of a game, ever. I think that they can get on such a run offensively to where, I mean, they might be well, they clearly are the most efficient offensive team left in the playoffs. They will score on you, and when they are in a run and they are flowing, they will dump a massive amount of points on your head. But with that being said, that I think the Knicks like really exposed the Pacers on the offensive glass. Like they got so many second chance opportunities, but the thing is, they never were really able to execute on them. They either took bad shots or had some turnovers late in the game, got into foul trouble. So I think again, New York kind of really took advantage of that. Miles Turner had a bad game where he was slow on and off of bodies and just not really able to hold too much in the paint. Brunson is a freaking dog. A little bit of a flopper, but a dog nonetheless. And he's somebody you got to account for 100% of the time. But getting back to this Pacers team, and it's going to be tough to win this series. And I thought personally, I think the Pacers can win in 7. I think they can win one on the road in New York. They've clearly been able to do that against any team on the road. They beat Cleveland on the road. They beat Milwaukee on the road. And I think that it's time, like, a lot of people don't want to put like the elite status on Tyrese Halliburton, but when it comes time to do big things, who's executing better currently in the NBA than Tyrese Halliburton? And I think that that list is extremely short. So I don't think he's in the elite superstar, like, 25 to 30 a night every single night that you can rely on him. No, because he's still a little inconsistent. There are nights where he'll have like 8 points, 10 assists. But again, I think he still contributes on the assist where those turn into points.
If I could here, Brad, to ask you a question. You're
Go ahead.
Trae Young with the Hawks run a few years ago. In terms of that budding star, now Trae Young is not the full potential, but as far as like positioning where Tyrese is at right now, he strikes me as the kind of player who can be that better Trae Young that's going to carry this team years forward. Is that a fair assessment?
No, 100%, because I think that a lot of people always want to judge like superstar status based on primarily points per game. How much are you scoring? But when you're a true point guard like he is, that he's like currently right now, he's averaging 11 assists a game in the playoffs. I mean, again, if you're assisting on a play, that's 2 points per. So that's another 40. That's another 20 something points per game.
Yep.
So I mean, it's you just got to look at the math of it. He's contributing on so much more than just what he's putting in the hoop. So ultimately, man, I think do I want to say last night required a little bit of luck? It did, because that's never been done before. That's again, there's a reason that stat out there is like teams are 0 and 970 something when in that late in the game, and they did that, and it was historic, and it was pretty cool to watch, and it just happened to be my team. So
yeah, I will say this, Brad, when again earlier today when we were going back and forth, and I think Troy had come on and mentioned how, I think he asked the question, are the playoffs still going on? And I will say this, I agree with you with the exception of a few clunkers. I mean, there were a couple, was it game 7 between OKC and Denver that just turned out to be a blowout. And honestly, the last game between New York and Boston was game 6, I believe, was just a blowout. With the exception of a few blowouts, this has been a very, very enjoyable, playoff as a whole, in my opinion, to watch. And I think one of the things I was listening on to some of the sports talk this morning on the way, and they talked about how, this season seems to be one of the first years. I mean, when you look at the big guys that have been carrying the league over the last number of years, whether it's Steph Curry, LeBron James, any of those guys, like there's really none of them left now. You know, it's all these younger stars. Even Jokic, I mean, is obviously out now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the league has done a better job. And I'm not a fan of super teams. I'm not a fan of dynasties. I think it becomes boring after a while when you just expect a certain team, whether it's Golden State or any of those teams, to just, you know, roll through everything and win every year. And then you're hoping for a miracle and an upset where, you know, this year I feel like any of these teams could win it. I mean, I think right now the edge goes to OKC, and I mean, I suppose Indiana actually, with the role they've been on, as much as I hate to say it, I would pick Indiana right now to win that series over New York, especially because they won game one in New York. I mean, Indiana went to this, and they went in this playoffs, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they were one of the worst playoff teams on the road with the road. I mean, they were under 500 this season on the road. And going into that Bucks series, even without Damian Lillard, I know a lot of.
I want to hear from you guys. What are your guys' opinions about, like? I mean, do you guys think that, like, you've seen enough from the Pacers now to where, like, they can legitimately
They're
get out of the
legit.
conference?
Yeah, the Pacers are legit. The only question I have for them in this series, legitimately, is Karl Anthony Towns versus Miles Turner. That's the only spot I look in the court and see a clear mismatch, which you alluded to a little bit on the offensive boards.
Yeah, again, Turner had a bad night last night.
But, like, that's the biggest discrepancy in the roster that I look at, like, player to player, starting five, starting top seven even. Miles Turner is not a bad player, to be clear. He's a good player.
Mm-hmm. Very good player.
Karl Anthony Towns is phenomenal. And that's where you have a spot where I see the biggest discrepancy. One thing I do want to call out, though, to counter Papa Bacon here a little bit, Tyrese Halliburton is his overall plus minus for the whole playoff so far. He's +9. Like, the guy is, when he's on the court, is making a difference. In last year, for example, the Pacers had 15 playoff games. He was +3.9. So you're talking about over doubling what it looks like for him when he's on the floor this year compared to last. And overall, Halliburton to me has been the belle of the ball through the playoffs this year, to where he is making a name for himself. He was already good. He's moving towards greatness. And I think this is where, to me, the Pacers are legitimate. I think that they're, I mean, look, I was proven wrong this everything I said last week. So I'm going to go ahead and take my chances here, I guess. To me, I see the Pacers, they should beat the Knicks now in this series. They got over the hump. They got that road win already. So now it's just holding serve. And it's all they really have to do to win the series. And they're shooting well enough, they're playing well enough to do it. Looking at the last 5 games for the Pacers also, I mean, the one game they lost is where Halliburton was -20. Like, again, this is where I'm saying the Pacers are running through Tyrese Halliburton in so many ways. But I also want to look at some more players here. Pascal Siakam might be one of the most underrated players overall in the league right now for what he actually brings to the floor. He reminds me of Charles Barkley, a 6'8" forward who plays bigger. He's not as bulky as Chuck was, but the guy plays mean. And I think that with Siakam on the floor, with Halliburton on the floor, there's just an edge to this Pacers team. And I'm not taking away from the rest of the guards. The whole guard group can shoot. It's phenomenal. It's a fun thing to watch.
The whole team can shoot. The whole team can shoot.
Yeah. So,
yeah, even dudes off the bench can shoot.
Right. I mean, so that's where, for me, looking at this, like, the Knicks are, again, I thought the Knicks kind of had a little bit of that. The Knicks finally don't stuck, but the Pacers don't stuck either. The Pacers are actually good, is where I'm kind of looking at this right now. The series I want, the league probably won't let happen. I want to see a Timberwolves-Pacers series, NBA Finals. The chances of that being allowed to happen feel extremely unlikely. But that would be the series I want to watch. Like, let me see Ant go against Halliburton. Like, that would be must-watch television, frankly.
Well, you could have, though, an SGA versus Halliburton. I mean, the MVP versus Halliburton. I mean that I don't know if they would guard each other. I mean, I don't want to watch enough of those teams to know if they would actually match up versus one another compared to. I agree with you with Ant and Halliburton, but it could be. I could see it happening, but Minnesota has to play tougher, and I mean they were leading the other night, and then Oklahoma State just came out and ran through them in the second half. I mean, so they have to put together two solid halves, and they have to hope that OKC shoots the way they've been shooting throughout the playoffs, which they didn't shoot like that in the second half of game one. And right now, I think they're up by about 7 at the half. So, or OKC is so.
I'm not expecting a Timberwolves Pacers series. Is what I want. To be clear on that, I expect a Thunder Pacers series at this point.
Yeah. Okay. Why don't you guys? I gotta run upstairs and let the dogs out. So why don't? Yeah.
I was just thinking the same thing.
Why don't you guys?
It's been going around singing that.
TJ, all right, TJ, what you got?
cover
What you got
NA
on this Knicks Pacers? Go on, tell us how you feel.
What sport are we talking about? We're talking about the
you
sport
have
where
to-
you
you
hit
have
the
to explain.
baseball through the field goal and you get 6 points, right?
He says,
Yeah,
"I
that's
don't
the
like
one.
this game. I don't like that game."
I don't watch. I don't watch
I'll
basketball.
chime in
Charles, it's
here.
all you.
All right,
Charles,
so
it's all you.
As a former Pacers fan, I think it's really exciting. They haven't been good in a long time. And I'll be honest, man, after Reggie retired, it was really easy for me living down here at the time. I hung on as long as Reggie was there. It was easy for me to kind of transition to the Hawks. Of course, it was a different time for the Hawks back then as well. First game I saw was like Neek and Spud and stuff. So, so it was a cool time. But, man, it's been fun to watch them play. This team is so fucking fast. I mean, they just wear you down. They're just full court. Just do. I love it. I love it. Their game reminds me of a good college-style game. And I really, really like that. So it's been enjoyable to see a team, work like that, work both sides of the court, use that full court press, use their speed as an advantage. I really love that because you see them constantly. They're up against competition that you would think would be considered better, but by the end of these games, these other teams are just completely gassed. And it shows. And so I think that that's pretty exciting. And I'll get into this a little bit later, but this kind of a win last night is the kind of momentum that can carry you to a championship. So I'm expecting them at this point to beat the Knicks, and I don't think it's going to take 7 games for them to do it either. I think this one's over in 6. And Ben, I'm with you. The matchup that I would prefer to see is the same one you would, but the Thunder's going to go to the championship. There's just too much.
But to hit on what you guys have all talked about, though, the fun part with this, regardless of who gets there, is it is the young stars. Regardless of which team is there.
Well, I think that
the best thing about this whole playoffs is that LeBron's gone and he was knocked out like the way they were.
Well, I think
That's
that the two teams that you mentioned, the thing they have in common is that they're both deep teams. They got dudes that can come off the bench and still play at a fast pace with high energy, and like you were mentioning earlier, do those full court presses, play that man to man at a hard level. Being able to bump, get really aggressive on screens and again wear dudes down throughout the game. And next thing you know, 5 minutes later, there's another fresh dude coming in there. Bam, bam. The Knicks only go about 7, maybe on a decent playoff night, maybe 8 deep. The Pacers are all of 10 deep. They can run dudes out left and right. And
their conditioning is just insane.
It is.
It really is.
And the thing you're right is the thing that I completely agree with you, man, is like the one thing I can say about this team is that they 100% hustle. It's all the time. It's all hustle, all the time. And there's never a play that they take off. So, I mean, it's been exciting to watch. I'm ready for another game in the Garden tomorrow night. It'll be hostile environment for New York because, to be quite honest, man, you're putting them in a corner if they play them hard in that game and it's close late. Watch out, man.
Oh yeah,
Watch out.
they're dogs, man. They are never out of this fight.
No, I'm not overestimating the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are a good team. Again, you get when you got one of the best players at Brunson. I mean, you always have a shot.
Yeah.
But at the same time, again, the Knicks are a very good team, and I would not underestimate them in the least.
So I'm gonna take the reins here a little bit for a second and change gears on us.
Quick update: the Panthers are now 4-0 at the end of the second period. They put one in right before the time expired.
Man,
And that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going.
Yowzers. Man, they're
So in the NHL right now, the Canes look dead on arrival.
Dude, don't
my
they?
gosh, the Panthers are just taking it to them right now. It's incredibly frustrating because I could not dislike the Panthers more. I don't think.
why?
Number
He
one,
doesn't like any hockey teams in the South.
that's not true. That's not entirely true. I don't hate the Preds, but look,
They're barely the South.
They're like
Hurricane-
Midwest.
Look.
No, Tennessee South.
the Preds and the Hurricanes I can handle. That's fine. But like, whatever. Miami having a team is just Bush League to me. Like, I hate it.
It's not
Get 'em
Miami,
out
man.
there.
It's Fort Lauderdale.
Close enough.
Even worse. Look, the whole point here is that the Florida Panthers are an abomination to the sport to exist, and I hate that they're doing what they're doing right now. To be clear, the team is
Why do
phenomenal.
why do you hate what they're doing? What are they doing? That's what's like.
Dominating. That's what they're doing.
Look, correct. No, I fully admit this. Like, if this was a team in Seattle, Washington,
So if it was the Kraken that was dominating like they are right now, you wouldn't have a problem with it.
I really wouldn't. I really don't.
Or
Like,
if it were the Canucks, you wouldn't have a problem with it.
correct.
Yeah, whoa. Canadians I have got
Yeah,
problems with no
right.
matter
Fucking
what.
Canada.
So I would gladly see if the Leafs were doing this right now, I'd be on board.
No.
But
Ben, you lost
Nobody
respect.
would, now
That's
he's
minus
lying.
one
Nobody
respect.
would be on board on that.
look, I know each and every one of you will cheer if you hear, I don't know, Chris Jericho come out when you're at a live show.
Nope.
If Edge comes out in a live show, I know you're cheering. You can't see it all of Canada.
All right.
So
Hold on, name a third, and we'll
got
see if
me,
I
you
actually
got
say
me.
yeah to that one.
Christian Cage.
Hell no, dude, you lost me. Nope. That's -2 now. Let's go. Keep going.
But what? So last night when the Pacers Knicks were on, what Stars and Oilers were on.
Oh my
And
god.
shoot, man, the
What a
Oilers.
game.
I mean, they kind of squandered it away there last night, didn't they?
Kind of squandered it away. Are you shitting me? It got
Kind of
ripped away from
wet the
them.
bed there, huh?
they
Holy
literally let
shit.
go.
Was it
Arguably
5 goals
last
in the
night.
third period? Like,
goals in
oh
the
my
period.
god.
Look, I'll say this: Edmonton does not die easy. Like that's probably one of the hardest kills you're
They
gonna get.
did
in
at
this
the end of
playoff.
last night's game.
I get it, but I'm saying the Oilers have had their back against the wall this year and last year and rose against it in certain situations. I am still going to stand by this one. I feel like the Oilers do beat the Stars in the end of the series. It's going to take 7, but they get it.
I feel like the Oilers are going to win just because Gretzky lost his title of best scorer in NHL, and they're going to give that to him and be like, here you go. Here's a Stanley Cup.
Let's call it what it is. Who's more excited, Edmonton or Dallas right now as a city?
Dallas.
Not even close. Come on.
Dallas.
Dallas is a big two
Dallas is
shits about anything
Are you
else.
kidding me?
No.
They have something finally to cheer about. Like, come on.
Let's put it this way. This whole week in Dallas, it started with the PBR World Finals. Then you roll into hockey. That place is livid right now.
All Dallas cares about right now is getting to Omaha. That's all they care about right now. They don't care.
Omaha.
And TJ, you know I'm not wrong here. College
Oh.
baseball
Oh,
easily
dude.
trumps Dallas Stars hockey. And
Don't get me started because, hold on.
I
Charles,
don't know, man. The AA Center
Hold on.
gets hyped up during a Stars game, man.
Charles, this one's for you. SEC is the best baseball, but who took the SEC championship in baseball this year?
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right.
Look, like I said, right now you can't beat the quality of television we're getting in both playoffs. Hockey,
Agreed.
NHL, and NBA both give us good television.
I'll tell you what some
Agreed.
quality TV is.
Agreed.
The look on these Canes fans' faces during this game every time they show them. A lot of them look like they're about to cry. It's hilarious. It is entertaining.
So, speaking of crying, so I'm heading to Georgia next week, Charles. I might stop and take
My
a
whole state is
shit
crying.
as we across that Florida border, just in your honor, because that's what I think about Georgia right now. But it's
You gonna be down here?
I'm gonna be down in Savannah for a few days, then a couple more weeks I'll be in Atlanta for a few days. So
Oh, okay. All right.
And then he's coming up to Baltimore to kick my butt.
you know I'd lose that fight, TJ. Don't even lie. I know where I'm lost. But look,
You just had back surgery, TJ, a while ago. Come on.
like
I'll rub his back first, give him a beer, and then we'll fight.
before we beat down.
Boiling.
Is it that I think he has that Diddy freak party
Oh,
kit with all baby oil?
going off the rails here.
In
Going
Baltimore.
off the rails.
No,
You gonna be in Atlanta over the on the weekend? We'll go catch a United game.
I wish, man. No, so I'm gonna be middle of the week. I got a work thing. I'll be in Atlanta for middle of June. But yeah, I'm flying to Jacksonville next week, Thursday. I'll be in Savannah for a few days. I'm looking forward to that. So it'll be great. But
Oh, middle of June too. That's when we've got the Club World Cup down here.
right.
Man
Right.
City, man, will be down here.
So, but one thing I'm gonna shout out to right away, guys. I have to. My boys, Tottenham Hotspur, finally won a trophy and beat Manchester United yesterday in an ugly match, 1-0 to get the Europa Championship. And look, if you don't follow soccer, I get it. Most people don't. But look, Tottenham right now is 17th in the Premier League. They've had a dismal season by most accounts. One of the cool things we get in European soccer, though, is you have the European play as well next to their league play. So here, for me as a Spurs fan, I've been basically checked out on the weekends, waiting for weekday gameplay in Europa because that's where they've been playing well. And like Tottenham winning this trophy, I kid you not, feels like when the Red Sox got over the hump, when the Cubs got over the hump. It's not that severe, to be clear. But that's what it feels like as a supporter, as a fan, because it's been – I mean, there's literally jokes. If you look online, like the jokes online are that there was a plume of dust flying out of Tottenham Hotspur Stadium as they're dusting out their trophy cabinet because it hasn't been touched in so long. I mean, this is a huge deal. If you're not familiar with the team, Young-Sun Min has been with the team for over a decade. Phenomenal player.
11 years without any hardware.
Great player for South Korea. Great player for Spurs. Great dude. And Sonny finally gets to hold that trophy. So very, very proud. Very excited for my Tottenham Hotspur. And but I want to take that into a little bit of conversation here on soccer. So if you're not watching, the Gold Cup's coming up here as well. And Mauricio Pochettino has announced the U.S. squad with a lot of names, I'll say omitted or left out, people expected to see on that roster. Christian Pulisic won't be playing in the Gold Cup. Josh Sargent won't play in that Gold Cup. Anthony Robinson. A lot of these guys that people have I think they had Gio Reyna on that list. A lot of these guys that you might recognize the names of will not be on that Gold Cup roster. And this is kind of that tune-up event for the World Cup coming in 2026 to the United States. Justification for this, by the way, for Pulisic, the man has played in over 120 matches the last 2 years between club and country. Insane amount of soccer he's playing. But I'm asking us as sports fans, most of us in America, and a shout out to our friend in England, Our Toffee fan, the Toffees still suck, but you're at just a new stadium. But look, get in while you can, because the World Cup's going to be a blast here in American soil. And it's something that if you are a sports fan, if you like a spectacle, if you like a show, I've always said WrestleMania and live soccer, live hockey are the three things you cannot replicate without actually being there.
Oh, live hockey.
It's just so different. So get on the bandwagon now, guys. Here we go. American Outlaws for life.
All right, let me jump in on this, Ben.
Go.
So, okay. Son, 11 years with the Spurs without raising any hardware. This is incredible. He is an absolute incredible player. He deserves this and much more. I think that was the most exciting thing about that game for me, was just him getting his finally. Pulisic not being on the team for this cup pisses me off. He's one of only 2 players on AC Milan that has actually been playing well this season. He's kind of been on fire this season, and the team itself would benefit from him. He is one of, if not our best players. Like, the dude is good. But I get it, because it has been a long haul for him over in Series A. They've done a couple of cup tours as well. He has played a lot, and he has put in a lot of work. And probably, I don't know how much, everybody knows about Series A and all, but what's going on with AC Milan, it's been a wreck of a season for them. There's probably a lot of stress there as well, and the kid could use a break. So I get it. So I'm not mad at him if he was like, hey, sit me out of this one, let me rest.
And
but
he did.
It does suck. Yeah, but it does suck for the fans. He's like our guy over there, and so to not see him play, but I get it. Touching on the World Cup, we also have the Club World Cup. The Club World Cup starts in like 2 weeks now, 3 weeks. There's some games in Orlando, Atlanta, all over the country. So for some reason, it's not selling the way you would expect it to. For whatever reason, the Club World Cup is having trouble selling tickets, selling out games. So much so that if you are interested in going, jump on the tickets now, because they are actually lowering the prices. Now, we are trying to go, AJ and I, to see Man City. They play here in June. We're City fans, and we want to see them. It might be the only chance here in Atlanta that we get to see them, unless they come with the Premier Summer Tour, which they are not coming to Atlanta for that. Man U is, but they're not. But that's also because they're going to be in the Club World Cup, and probably in July they will be, hopefully, in the finals of the Club World Cup. But we've seen they're releasing tickets now that are cheaper than what they have offered across the board as well. Just checking in it 2 days ago, good seating for these games is dropping. I've seen $89 tickets drop down to $70 a piece. That's in lower section, here in Atlanta. So for whatever reason, it's not gaining the support that it should have. And Ben's absolutely right. Like, seeing these games, it is like hockey. All right, hockey is a great sport. It's a great sport to watch on TV. But there's nothing like being at a live hockey game, especially like the best of the best, like NHL and all that. The atmosphere is absolutely incredible. And soccer is the same thing. If you really enjoy the sport, it's a great watch on TV, but I can understand how some people watching it just on TV can, miss the appeal of it, especially when you see like a game that's like, 1-1 or 1-0, you know what I mean? But in person, absolutely incredible. And if you're going to go and you're going to see one of these, do a little bit of research. Find out what songs they sing. Find out what chants they have and get into it, because it is a lot of fun. So, support this. Support this Club World Cup. This is a cool thing, and we're getting to see this. And some of the best teams in the world, some of the best club teams in the world are coming down here. It's It's going to be an awesome experience. And I suggest that everybody takes their kids. It's going to be a lot of fun.
So why do you think? I guess and I'm probably one of the least of the soccer fans in this group, but why, your guys' opinion, why is it not selling as well? Because we've seen the friendlies that they've had here. They just had one at Lambeau Field like 2 summers ago, or something, 3 years ago.
Yeah,
I mean that place was packed. Is it just a situation where maybe people don't know about these teams as much as
in general? Aaron, I'll put it this: that a lot of things I've seen, the Copa Americas was here a couple years ago as well, and tickets were too high price for a casual fan to want to go.
okay.
I mean, in reality, I mean, I have to ask you this, Aaron: would you pay $100 to go watch Man City play against, let's just say, AC Milan right now?
Oh, I definitely would pay for that.
I would.
Those two teams. Are you kidding me? That's five of the greatest soccer players in the world.
But
in
are you
one
talking,
game.
Charles? Are you talking? Is this a friendly or is this like a World?
No,
Cup?
this is okay. So this is okay. So we have.
I'm saying the what Ben just said. In the scenario Ben just said. Are you talking about a friendly match at Lambeau Field, or are you talking about? I mean, because I guess if I felt like it counted it for something, I might consider it. But if it was just like some exhibition, no, I would not pay $100.
Yeah, see, and this is an exhibition. This is the World Cup for individual clubs. It's
and that's the thing. Like casual fans like me,
scaled down from the World Cup where it's your nation, your national teams. But this is supposedly the best teams in the world. And here's one of the things. I think that the Club World Cup has kind of taken a hit a little bit with some of the teams that they've put into the cup. There's a feeling that some of the teams don't actually, as a club, deserve to be there. And I'm going to say this. Inter Miami is one of those teams who doesn't have a championship, who got knocked out of their playoffs in the first round by Atlanta United last year. Messi is on that team. That is why they're there. There's a few other teams that are kind of getting that as well. It's more of a showcase for who the players are, regardless of the success. But then you've got some of the team, a lot of the teams are considered to be the best of their leagues, or, top 3 in their leagues at least.
So to give you an idea here, looking at the clubs now, I will say that one thing you will see some people holding out due to is they do have the Saudi teams involved here as well, and that does draw a certain degree of ire.
That's what we're going to see, Alan.
But I mean, I guess I'll say some clubs here, guys, just to make an example here of who's playing, why it should matter. Atletico de Madrid, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Chelsea, Juventus, Inter, Manchester City, PSG, Porto,
which
Real
Paris
Madrid.
Saint-Germain is a storied team. Like, I wish that I had the chance to see them down here.
Salzburg. I mean, so you have some clubs that even, I'm guessing, Aaron, you as a casual fan maybe play FIFA once in a while. You know those clubs, right? Like, I'm not expecting you to know Pachuca or Flamingo or Palmeiras. Like, that's not. But there's still, to Charlie's point, there's still major clubs in their countries where they're coming from. Monterrey in the Mexican League. You go into should be another example I can actually speak about. Benfica, one of the better Portuguese teams. Like, they're giants. They're legitimate giants in their own league. But you have some of the best players in the world who are going to be here on our soil. And but I think that to answer your question more completely, I look at this as some people will pay stupid money to see Messi play for Inter Miami in their local MLS game, but they'll ignore this for some reason. And that part doesn't make sense to me. That's what I don't understand. I mean, you're going to have literally Mbappe, Neymar. I mean, you're going to have these guys here.
I want to see Neymar. I would love to.
Erling Haaland. I mean, not even going to the Real Madrid.
Foden.
So I think it comes back to some of its awareness. Some of it's going to be Americans just being stubborn, and not wanting to get into a sport they don't understand. But I don't know.
Look,
Brad,
man, it's like
I'm actually curious of Brad and TJ's opinion here, because, like, Brad, do you follow soccer at all?
I would say to a very mild extent. I do watch from afar, and I kind of just I'll peek at like standings and look at some box scores and stuff here and there. Major headlines I'm aware of, but like when it comes to soccer, I'm definitely like more of a like U.S. soccer fan than maybe like having a club favorite. So I kind of appreciate it as just like as an umbrella kind of thing. Like I really don't have a team that I follow, so I just enjoy watching good soccer.
So if in Lucas Oil Stadium they had, I'll give the example here. If you had a chance to go watch, let's even Monterrey playing PSG, would you go make a point of seeing that match?
Again, it would depend on what I'd have to throw down for it.
Right.
You know, it does really depend. I mean, if it's up in the like 600 level of that place, I mean, and you're saying like, I don't know, $30-$40, then yeah. But I don't know if it would be that cheap for that kind of event. So that's capitalism, I guess.
Well, and that's kind of what I'm getting at to help answer Aaron your question. Is I think that I would say all of us here are sports fans. We all invest a lot of our time, money, and energy into sports, right? And some of us, I call myself a degenerate before to this extent. Like, this is where I think you see that line in the sand drawn for some people, where it's, hey, I'm already spending $2,000 on my season tickets for NFL. I'm spending whatever, $1,000 on baseball tickets for my family to go this summer. I'm spending whatever. At some point, we all hit that budget limit, I think. And I think some people don't see the value for themselves to go out and make a point of going to Atlanta to go watch Manchester City play, for example.
Yeah. Well, and you wonder too. I'll just say this, and then we can move on, unless TJ wants to pipe in here. But I do wonder too if are there people maybe looking forward to next year and the World Cup and thinking, you know what, I'd rather go to World Cup. I have limited funds. I have a limited budget for my sports. Maybe they're thinking about saving up and going to a World Cup match too instead of this.
I don't even want to see those prices.
Yeah, yeah. TJ, do you follow soccer at all or not?
The only soccer team I truthfully follow is Annapolis Club, which is like a small, like semi-pro, almost like they're almost like the farm team for DC United, who plays right down the road from us. I'll follow them every once in a while. My father-in-law is huge in Liverpool. Like every Sunday he's here. He's got that on in the morning. Like if we try to do a brunch, we have to work the schedule around so he can watch a Liverpool game. Sometimes we go over to the house and watch with him. But I mean, I feel like with these games coming stateside, especially around this area where I think soccer is almost like second sport here in Maryland. Those tickets I could see selling out pretty fast. Like DC United, a lot of the DC United games are starting to sell pretty fast. I know when Miami came to town, those tickets were literally maybe $200-$300 just to go, and these were seats.
That's to see Messi.
Yeah, like the big names, you'll see that. But when it comes to like the smaller teams, stuff like that, it's not as big. But I know, like you said, when the World Cup shows up, I think a lot of people are saving their money for that to go to those games. I know, like my cousin, he's a huge soccer fan. He plays soccer for Special Olympics, and he wants to go. So, for me, I'd go for just the ability to say that I went to go see some of these teams play, but I wouldn't say I'm going there as like a true fan. I think I'd go in there as like a sports fan, just to see what it's about. What as Charles said, just to see like the teams and how their fans act, and the chants and stuff. I think that's probably my favorite part of listening and watching the soccer. Just like the fans that get so rowdy with it, and they start these chants, and you're just like, okay, what are they saying? Because now I want to say it with them.
Well,
Yeah,
I think like TJ, like for the World Cup especially, you got a kind of nice. You're in a nice location where you got like 3 places you can go
Yeah.
to possibly pick up a game in like New York or Boston or Philly. You know,
So
in
Philly is one of the ones that we are looking at because I think it was like the past 3-4 years. El Clasico has been in Baltimore and in DC. And when I say those places are, when that comes around, those places are jumping. And I went a few years back with a bunch of buddies. We went to go see that. And it was, just because we want to see Cristiano Ronaldo. So, I think the fact that it's coming close, I think I would make that, 2.5-hour trip up to Philly just to go see the World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I will say this. I 3 years ago when they came for that friendly at Lambeau, I had no interest in going, and now, like looking back on it, I kind of wish I had. I mean, our son probably wouldn't have given 2 shits about it, but I know our daughter would have. I mean, she loves any sports event; it doesn't really matter. So, like, I mean, it's is Ben? What's the closest? Is Chicago getting any games or not? What's the closest?
Yeah,
city to
Chicago-
Green Bay?
Not the World Cup, no.
no, Chicago does not have a World Cup.
Kansas
game.
City is the closest for us to
Kansas
World Cup.
City. Okay, all
Yeah.
right.
Well, because I know here at Navy Stadium, Team USA is practicing at Navy Stadium for the
Yeah.
whole World Cup.
Wow. Well, hopefully they can stay in it long enough to make it worth. I mean,
So remember, the World Cup is in USA, Mexico, and Canada.
okay.
So in the USA,
It's North America.
it's
ATL.
Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, LA, Miami, New York, Philly, Seattle, San Fran.
Is Orlando not hosting
Nope.
the World Cup?
In Mexico,
They're
it's
hosting the Club World Cup.
Guadalajara, Mexico City, and Monterrey. And in Canada is Toronto, Vancouver.
So
Canada only gets 2. Fucking hosers.
dropping a deuce.
Suck it, Canada.
But like I said, guys, I want to call out my Spurs just because it is a big moment for our club and excited for it. It's a good thing. There's a lot of momentum for us in the States on soccer as a whole, so I want to at least draw some attention to that. TJ, I'm going to draw you in here for a second. Sorry, or I'm going to cut you off here again. College baseball.
Yee.
Could you find a better time to talk about college baseball? Only like maybe 3 weeks from now. Maybe. But right now, if you're not watching, turn on your freaking TV and put on ESPN Plus or your extra ESPN networks and watch some college conference tournaments. And next week are regionals. So it happened to work out. My vacation is over the regional tournaments. And I am stoked because regional tournament baseball and the super regionals is so fun. Like people talk about March Madness being a big deal. I honestly enjoy regionals and super regionals more than I enjoy March Madness at this point.
Ooh.
It is so much fun.
I agree.
And I'm going to begrudgingly admit this quick so Charlie can get excited, but like the SEC is going to host like half of the regional tournaments. But it's cool because in college baseball, one thing that I do see that makes March Madness great is that Cinderella does exist, right? Not this year, but most years you have a Cinderella that can exist. In college baseball, we've seen teams like Coastal Carolina. We've seen teams like Dallas Baptist and other programs make these special runs to create themselves a legacy. And so, again, another sport I want to call out here is saying, take a look, guys. Like it's MLB's fun, but I know Troy and others on the show here before lamented. This part of the season as a baseball fan, in MLB, you're kind of like, who cares? Unless you're Combs. I'll admit I do. I enjoy baseball regardless, but like overall, Division I baseball, regionals, super regionals, and that whole road to Omaha is so fun.
I'll say super regionals right now are playing, and Texas Tyler and Angelo are playing. It's the top of the ninth. Texas Tyler is up 12-3. We got another one, CSUMB versus, I think that's Nazareth, Northwest Nazareth. They're just whooping up on them. It's 11-0. Tampa beat West Florida. Norwood beat Indy. I mean, like all these small Division I teams that you've never heard of can put a good Power 5 school in the ground, and it could be at any moment. I think tomorrow is the other games for these super regionals, but come to the weekend,
it's conference yet, TJ.
What's up?
It's conference right now.
So there's some of the conferences are already done.
Yes, but regionals start next week.
I don't know if it'll show up. It says super regionals right here.
Is that
for Division I?
Okay?
Never mind. You were right. I was looking Division III. I'm so wrong on that one.
My bad. Sorry to call you out. My bad. I didn't want to do that to you.
No, because my phone's been acting up all day. But no, yeah. So a lot of these Division I teams that are playing right now, as you're saying, Abilene Christian, Utah State, Florida International, Western Kentucky, South Dakota, Omaha, all these teams are coming in. You know, some of them don't have very good. I mean, South Dakota State was 16-36 in the Summit, and they made it to the finals and lost to Omaha. But it's just, you know, this is going to be the year where there will be a Cinderella, and who it will be, nobody knows yet.
And honestly, it only takes a few hot games, a hot pitcher. And Paul Skeens made his name through these tournaments, by the way. So it's just throw it out there as another endorsement for more sports. So I'll shut up now, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Well, no. I do want to move on and talk a little bit of racing, but let me just say this since we're talking baseball. I heard a crazy stat today going to Major League Baseball.
That Brandon Hyde sucks ass.
Well, no, that the entire Colorado Rocky franchise sucks ass right now.
Well, that's
and that they are on pace. I don't know if you guys heard this. They are on pace right now to finish 74 games out of first place.
Yep.
Which would shatter. I don't know what the old record is, but what's even funnier is that right now they're also on pace to finish 48 games behind the fourth place team in their division.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So there's a little bit of info that comes with that. So that it's officially the worst 50 game start in history.
Yep.
At 8-42. 8-42.
They hit that mark today, right? I believe. Yeah.
Yeah.
Unreal, man.
Yeah. Just when you thought you'd never see a team as bad as the White Sox were last year. Hey,
yeah.
Here comes Colorado. So Fitz, if you're listening, our buddy down that does shows with Combs in Chicago, he's a White Sox fan. Don't worry, bud. I think your team will only be the worst team in Major League history for 1 year, and Colorado will.
Well, you got to look at all these teams that are doing terrible. You got Colorado, Pittsburgh, who has Paul Skeens, first of all. Then you have Miami. They're not too, no one really talks about Miami. White Sox are still there. They're 15-35.
Yeah.
And the team that
they're
surprised
twice as good as Colorado.
Yeah.
That's the bad part.
But the team that surprised everybody this year, Baltimore at 16-32.
What is going on in Baltimore, man?
They fired it. Okay, so I could use this on 4 minutes on high, but I got something different now. I'm going to use this right now. Baltimore never should have fired Brandon Hyde. They need to fire Mike Elias.
I agree with you.
Mike Elias does not want to spend money. The ownership wants to. Mike Elias said, we're not going to do anything with this organization because what we have as a core is what we're going to do. Great. You said at the end of the year, yes, you got swept by the Royals, and then the year before you got beat by the eventual champions of the Rangers. Great. You're building 2 straight solid years, and you're like, okay, 2025 coming in, we're going to have a solid team. Everything's good. You lose Corbin Burns. Then Danny Coulombe's gone. You're losing Anthony Santander. I mean, like, they let go of some of the guys who kept this team together offensively and defensively. And he's like, oh, we'll replace him. Charlie Morton comes in, and his ERA is 11.5. I mean, Jesus, get that man a walker and put him in the freaking old man's home. He had he's past his prime. And now Mike Elias is saying, hey, the whole Paul Skeens situation, we're going to put our chips into it as well. He threw out a trade proposal to the Pirates, who are now actually looking into it and saying this might be a good deal, sending their number one catcher, 2 first rounds, if they even have 2 first rounds anymore, their best pitcher in Grayson Rodriguez, and I think it was either Adley or Gunnar to Pittsburgh for Paul Skeens.
Oh, you can't give up Gunnar.
That is
You cannot give up Gunnar. This is ridiculous.
That is what he put out there. Baltimore is literally at his doorstep with pitchforks. I'm not going to say a noose because that'll probably get it shut down. But they're there for blood. And I will say this right now.
Pitchforks and blowtorches.
Thank you. The ticket prices this year were skyrocketing because everybody's like, okay, the O's are back. They're going to do something.
Yeah.
They started skidding. They were going down. They skid more. Oh, they're going even more down. They're so low right now that you can get a full series, either a 3 or 4 game series for under $100.
Damn.
It's like
not
the
a bad
White
deal.
Sox. White Sox last year were giving away tickets.
They might be
that's
giving away
okay.
tickets soon because
By the way, guys,
What do you expect? You fired a
further your
manager
point-
that's got you 190 wins in the last 2 seasons. 2 trips to the playoffs brought you back from the brink. I mean, what the hell kind of decision making is that? I wouldn't pay to
It
see that
goes-
shit either.
So look, the only team with a worst run differential is the Rockies and the Orioles right now.
Yeah.
And it's the weird part to me is they've scored 183 runs. They've given up 268.
Oh,
The way the Rockies have only scored 164 runs and given up 323. So to be fair, the Rockies are twice as bad. But I mean, if you're looking at the
Good
next
God.
closest team right now to them is the Miami Marlins, who have scored 197 to get up 276.
and you know what's sad is Miami comes to town in 3 weeks. They literally come to town in 3 weeks for a 3-game set, and then they go to DC.
for a battle of the bottom feeders.
Literally.
You know what's really sad though, TJ, is that we had them on the ropes to sweep them, and we couldn't even do that. So
Yeah.
the Brewers are sad right now
Yeah,
too.
the Brewers are in a.
I will
a rough
say-
spot right now, but
I almost texted you and Aaron to go down there and talk to him because I had money on the game for the Brewers to beat them and sweep them. And somehow Adley Rutschman came back to win it. And you know what? I'm not upset because now Baltimore, it was gray and gloomy skies. There was a little sunshine today. They're like, oh, we won. Cool. Game got rained out today in Boston. I'm going to say this right now. If they don't make playoffs, Mike Elias is gone. Because that whole new ownership group is aiming for him now. And one of the biggest names, besides David Rubenstein, is Cal Ripken Jr. is on that board.
Hey, there you go.
And he is hot. He is hot. His son, Bill Ripken, Ryan. Ryan Ripken was on 105.7 The Fan here in Baltimore and said, I cannot go to my dad's house without him being on the phone with the other owners trying to figure out who our next general manager would be. And I guarantee you, end of the season, if he's not gone, I don't know what's going on, but Tony Masalino, I'm happy for him. He's a super cool guy, very, very relatable to a lot of the fans here. And I hope he does well. But I say this right now, Brandon Hyde never should have been fired. It's not his fault the team was slumping. It's the leadership. And Mike Elias should have been gone.
But to your point there, TJ, too, you see it. Usually when you fire a manager, you get a little bit of a bump. The Orioles went the other direction.
Yeah.
After Hyde was fired, they got worse.
Oh, massively. And it brought the morale of the team and the city down. When I say the people in Baltimore literally started saying they're selling their season tickets, I went on Facebook Marketplace, found somebody selling the rest of their season tickets because Brandon Hyde's gone. This reminds me of the whole Buck Showalter saga that happened here. Baltimore can't keep a manager for anything. And when they do, and they're like, oh, yeah, he can take us somewhere. He'll take it to the playoffs. You may lose. You may go to the NLDS, whatever. You had 2 great seasons with him. He was rebuilding that team. The farm system still is amazing because they have some great players. You let him go, and now everything from top to bottom is just crumbling.
Okay, so let's I do want to touch real quick before we go. We'll finish up with some racing since we got a big weekend of racing coming up with Memorial Day. But I did want to touch a little bit on the recent some of the news in the NFL, mainly the recent owners meeting that took place. Was it yesterday or last couple of days, where they voted on a couple things, including obviously the tush push. We had apparently they decided to change the rules of the onside kick again back to where you can do it, I think, if you're behind or something like that. Like the old rule from last year was you can only do it in the last, I think, 2 minutes of the game or 2 minutes of the half, and you had to be behind, you had to declare and all that stuff. And then the third thing that I remember that they decided on was to allow NFL players to play in the flag football Olympics, or in 2028 in LA. They're having the Olympics, Summer Olympics with flag football. They're allowing NFL players to go in there. Anything stand out? I mean, anyone want to make any comments about like tush push or anything? I know in our group we talked a little bit about the teams that voted for and against the ban. I was a little surprised that Buffalo was one of the teams that supported the ban on it, considering how successful it's been for them and Josh Allen. But anyone else have any thoughts? I know Jeffrey Lurie made some speech and was a whiny little bitch about it or whatever. But I don't know, Ben, what are your thoughts about any of that stuff? Anything stand out?
Honestly, not really. I'm not shocked by any of the results.
Yeah,
I think it's kind of a spot where, to me, I don't know why they changed the rule in the first place with not letting another person help advance the runner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
exactly.
It is what it is. Whatever, it's fine. I'm not even that angry about it, honestly. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The NFL players playing in the Olympics, I'm glad they agreed to that, because I think it's one of those that you have some of the best athletes in the world playing the NFL. Give them a chance to go do an Olympics without having to be a sideshow where they're not even that good. Because, I mean, in reality, is an O lineman going to win the shot put? No. Is Tyreek Hill going to win a sprint? No. But they could go out there and win a flag football championship. Let them go out there and represent our country in a sport we take pride in. And that, to me, is probably the biggest standout, which is not really a shocker, honestly.
Okay. Charlie, what were your thoughts? Anything?
I mean, nothing surprised me as far as the votes. You know, I had a glimmer of hope maybe that the tush push would get banned, just because I think it's a ridiculous play. But I get the argument for not banning it. So, you know, it is what it is, and this is what, like, the third year in a row that they've like voted on it. And it's just here to stay, probably. But yeah, I think it'll be fun to see these guys play some flag football in the Olympics. That's going to be awesome, and other countries just don't stand a chance. So that'll be great. But, you know, to me, it was kind of a, you know, nothing shocking and nothing really exciting came out of it. So it just is what it is. The NFL will go on.
Yes, the NFL will go on. Brad, what about your thoughts?
I think the bigger impact is the onside kick. That's going to have more of a direct impact on the game, and it's if I remember reading right, doesn't the kicking team also get to line up 1 yard closer?
Yes. Or it's something about 9 yards instead of 10.
Yes. So it's definitely going to change the dynamic of how the outcome is going to possibly end up being, because I think last year's, I mean, there was typically, you know, if you had with the old onside kick methods that, you know, there you'd see a good anywhere from 4 to 6 a year, you would say, recoveries. throughout the NFL, right? But I mean, I don't even recall any last year at all.
Well, and that's
Oh,
that
4
was
or
what
6,
that's
I think, generous though.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'll say this two things. First of all, and then we'll get TJ's take on it too. I mean, number one, I don't like the whole idea that you got to declare that you're going to do it. I like. I mean, as much as I'm not a fan of Sean Payton as a coach, back when was it in the Super Bowl?
Where he
When
did it like the
he-
second possession he had it.
Yeah, well, it started.
Yeah.
It started the second half. They were kicking off, and they started it with an onside kick. I mean, that you can't do that now with today's rule or with the rules they have right now. And I think it kind of takes a little something out of it. But are any of you, and TJ, I'll ask you this. I'll let you start since you haven't really said anything on this topic yet. Anyone would have an objection with giving teams another option besides the onside kick? Something like, okay, you get the ball at the 35-yard, your own 35, and if you can get to midfield on one play, you get to keep it. Or so, like maybe give them an option. You can either do the onside kick or you can try this other thing. Because to me, I just feel like they should either add an option or try something else to spice it up. Because I have no faith that my team is going to get the onside kick. I mean, I just don't. It's like you keep your fingers crossed. I have more faith. Back when Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback for the Packers, I had more faith that we would get a Hail Mary successfully than we would an onside kick. I mean, that's how sad it got. So, TJ, I'll let you answer this one.
So I'm going to go off on the first segment you asked about the tush push wise. I'm very surprised that it wasn't banned with the amount of players that came out and said like they've had to go to the doctor. Like after the games, they had to get their necks looked at. Looking at, I think it was a Super Bowl this year. Jones literally came out for 2 series because when they went for the tush push on the goal line, it compressed his spine. He said his neck was killing him.
Yeah.
That's one thing that, they always say player safety. That's a big thing. So, I'm kind of surprised they're keeping it. Maybe now a lot of teams
when the Packers gave that reasoning, they got laughed at. I mean, then the NFL came out and said, well, there's really no evidence that there's a risk to the player's health. But anyway,
and what I see is a lot of teams now are probably going to implement the tush push, and it's going to be overused, and they're going to be like, okay, yeah, these guys are getting hurt. This is the play that's hurting them. So then they'll take it out. As for the Olympics part, I think it'll be fun, but I also feel like this could be like for the 2028 Olympics, this could also be like the NFL All-Star game. These guys will get voted on, and they're probably going to have like a tryout or whatever, but I feel like this could be like one of the things that they could use for an All-Star game. I'm also kind of worried that if they played a little too hard or try to go above and beyond, something's going to happen to somebody during this, and then it's going to look bad on the whole thing of, hey, we can let the guys play and all this stuff. So I think it's a give and take with that. So I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes and how it works. But for the onside kick, and how you were saying maybe there's something they can do. I'm going to take this to arena ball, where a lot of times when you kick the ball, like when they do punts, like a 4th down punt, they don't have punting. You can either get the ball on the goal line or you can go to like the 10-yard line, and you get the ball from there. I kind of think NFL should do that instead of like an onside kick, or something like that. They should be like, hey, do you want the ball at the 20 and try to, go from there, or something like that? Because I feel like now the NFL is making all these player safety rules and all these rules to help them out, but they're not learning them in college. College has still got the normal kickoff. I mean, they are running full speed ahead at each other, clocking the shit out of them. And, NFL, you're like, oh, you got to line up here. And when the ball's kicked and somebody catches it, then you can run. Like, I feel like there's a disconnection in between those two. And a lot of these guys coming in from the college game to pros are almost a step behind. So,
yeah.
I wish we would just go back to the old ways of just letting guys spear each other and clothesline and do some night train lane shit and just beat the shit out of each other, but that's never going to happen.
I'm going to ask a question here, TJ, quick then too, with the alternatives. I love the UFL's 4th and 12th and the 28th personally.
Yeah.
Kind of speaks to what Aaron mentioned before too. To me, it's intrigue where I can watch the end of a UFL game and you don't know what's going to happen.
Yep.
Because that 4th and 12, one defensive holding, one pass interference, and also that drives a lot.
Yep.
And it is still improbable, but possible.
Yep.
And I also actually appreciate how they handle their 1, 2, or 3 points after a touchdown to add intrigue to the game as well. Again, I think that a lot of NFL fans, traditionalists, would scoff at it, but there's something to be said for it. I mean, the game has gone to a point where there are some teams that would prefer to go for a 2-point conversion now because the math says to do that.
Yeah.
Like, if they want to play the odds, let them play the odds. And ironically, baseball, a game of math, has taken some math away by not allowing the shift. If you want to stack your entire infield on the right side or left side, knock yourself out, buddy. I'm going to bunt down that baseline on you, and I'm going to get my guys pad to pad. Same for football. If you can't stop a 7-yard play to save your game, you don't deserve to win anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I would, and that's kind of like I said, to me, doing something like you just talked about, the 4th and 12th and the 28 or whatever, it gives the team that's behind, that's trying to come back, a little more of a chance. But again, like you just said, if your defense is good enough, you should be able to stop a 4th and 12. I mean, I'm sorry, you just should. And if you can't,
4th and 26.
yeah. Oh, come on, don't this. We don't need to talk about that anyway. All right, so let's
listeners, by the way, 2005. Go ahead and reference that one.
So let's go on and let's finish up here with some racing action. We got a busy weekend. We don't talk a lot of racing here on the show, but Indy 500, Coca-Cola 600. You guys also mentioned, what were the other 2 races?
Monaco Grand Prix and the Wiener 500.
Oh, the Wiener. That's right.
The Wiener 500.
The most important one of the whole thing. The most important one.
Wiener races.
So let me just ask.
You're Winnie Hut Jr., sir.
How many of you? Well, okay, I will start with Brad since he's our Indiana guy.
Hey,
Brad, have you ever gone to the Indy 500? I don't know,
dude. It's like one of the neatest events ever. It's okay. It's wild to think that on race day, that single location, 1 in every 1,000 humans in the United States are at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
So much fun.
It's like,
wow,
it's a complete sellout this year. They're expecting over 350,000 people to attend that race on Sunday.
Wow.
So
that's crazy.
Oh, absolutely, dude. I mean, not only the stands packed, the infield's packed, the campers are in there. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And the thing is, it's people of all walks of life. Everything from it's racing elite and almost I say uppity mucks to just straight down freaking racing rednecks, and everybody goes there and has a good time. And generally, people are really cool with everybody else on race day, and unless they're because there's going to be some intoxicated folks, but
no,
but oh yeah, and so yeah, it's again, it's a spectacle that you just don't understand how massive that place is until you're actually there.
No, it's freaking huge.
No, you just don't even understand. Like if you've been to like Lambeau Field, you can fit like 10 Lambeau Fields inside of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is crazy the size when you think about that.
Yes, it's amazing to see just like watching machines going 230 plus miles per hour, and you're just like, what the fuck? The smells about it, like, to me it's intriguing. Like I grew up like watching racing and stuff as a kid, and like into my early teen years, And so yeah, I still got a soft spot for watching racing. I always watch the Indy 500. Always watch the 500. And
Who won the first time you went? Who won?
the first time I went,
First time you went.
oh man, it was that was a Scott Dixon year. Scott Dixon.
Okay, so the first time I went was Rick Mears.
Nice.
Yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
Yeah.
Gil DeFerrin for me, by the way.
Gil DeFerrin. So you've been to the 500, Ben. Do you agree with what?
Oh,
like,
100%.
Dude, the pomp and circumstance that goes with it all. I mean, it's just again, there's a reason it's the biggest sporting event in the entire, like it's the biggest single event in the entire world.
It's so I was about 40 yards before the bricks and about 26 rows up.
Fuck
Nice.
yeah,
I
dude.
had-
Those are great seats.
Nice.
I had
Those are
phenomenal seats. And just the feeling of walking underneath the bricks, even to go to the infield, was so surreal. I mean, just the whole thing is just different. And to your point, you had everything from the hobnobs to Billy Bob, like redneck,
Oh yeah.
all hanging out, having a great time. There's literally signs at tailgate parties. I'm driving by in this coach bus. I went with my friends, and they went from like their racket club down to the racetrack. In our bus, we passed a tailgate that had a sign in the front that was "Show boobs or pecker for beer." And there's people walking up and dropping trow to get a free beer.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the Indy 500, guys.
Oh, yeah.
I can't lie to you. It's just insane.
That sounds like Talladega.
No, dude, it's Talladega on steroids, man. You don't even like
It's
Talladega
insane.
is a party. It is awesome, but it does not compare to being at the
Shoot,
500.
okay.
Like,
So here's the cool part. Like, do any? Ben knows probably. Do any of you know? Well, and probably Charlie knows too. It's a snake pit. So there's an area. Okay, so if you never heard of the snake pit, that it's an area of the infield. So here's the racetrack. It's a giant oval, right? So inside of turn 3 is this massive field inside of it. It's actually part of a golf course. And the thing is that they have a huge concert inside of the track while the race is going on. And so they call it the snake pit. They used to again have like they'll have like Carb Day concerts there and all kinds of stuff. It's again it's a spectacle. It's an event. There's nothing like it. It's I mean,
and everything's a party too. It's not just the race. I mean, qualifies. I mean, it's just the whole
It's a
thing
blast.
is just a spectacle.
it's a blast.
That's one of the things I miss the most about Indiana.
Okay, so let's let's just touch on the Indy 500 first, and then we'll go to the other races. So I'm trying to look up here who the favorites are because
Award is the favorite.
Who is?
Award is the favorite, and he is probably going to get it this year.
Okay. So let's see. I'm looking up. I should already have this stuff. This is very bad radio right here, or TV, whatever. If you're watching this live.
Pat
I think I
O'Ward,
have-
Alex Palou, Scott McLaughlin, and Scott Dixon are all your top 4. Awards
Yeah,
plus
Sato,
500,
Newgarden.
Palou's plus. Sorry.
Yeah, Takuma Sato's in the front
Sato,
row.
yeah.
He's already won 2. He's won 2 500s.
And don't leave out my man, Will Power.
Yeah,
He's always got a shot and the second best name in sports.
Will
Kyle
Power.
Larson. I'm going for Kyle Larson.
Dude, he's starting like 21st, I think. I'll be
19th.
cheering for him. I'm not
19th.
rooting for him over Will, but I'll be cheering for him. But I just don't.
Look,
he can win in anything, but I don't think he's got
on
the
Indy
experience
Day-
Wait,
to
is
win the 500.
Larson actually in it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Larson's
he's doing,
in it.
He's doing 1,100 miles
Oh.
on Sunday.
Good Lord.
Oh yeah.
I thought I had heard something.
Pulling
Is
a
he?
Tony.
He really. So he's going to be going to Charlotte right after this race.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
he's pulling a Tony. He's going to hop in the chopper, get right down there. He did this last year too. Of course,
Now,
Awesome.
is-
That's
the rain
awesome.
delay and everything kind of put a damper on all those plans. But yeah, he'll be doing 1,100 miles tomorrow on Sunday.
Well, I was going to say, what's the weather supposed to be like in Indiana, Brad, on Sunday? Is it
Everything I've seen, it's
sunny?
supposed to be. It's not supposed to rain.
or
I
nice
mean,
at least. Okay,
yeah, it's supposed
dry.
to be nice. Actually, the last time I looked, it was supposed to be like high 60s and no rain.
Okay.
So hey, it's looks like it says cloudy and high of 69 to 70. So I mean
Good
that's
for racing.
perfect, dude. That's perfect racing weather. I mean, that's,
Yeah.
you're gonna not only be able to get fast cars, and you're gonna see a lot of action, be able to keep a lot of grip on the tires, and or
Yep.
at least be able to, and again, the cooler it is, the faster the cars will run. So bottom line is, I think it's going to be a good racing weekend. It's going to be a perfect weekend for the 500. I'm ready to go.
All right. Well, let's move
I'm
on quick to the.
shot here with Castroneves, man. I'm telling you, like that guy is like Indy fans hate him because he won't drink the milk. But Elio Castroneves, like that dude's won how many Indies now? He's
Castroneves won
right
4.
now. He's the 19th in terms of odds. He's the 19th picked guy, but the guy is some on that track. The guy runs fast.
Yeah, he does. And again, there's a reason that he's won 4. He's a legend in that place. And there's been multiple times where he hasn't won, and he's finished in top 5. And so I mean, again, he's a long shot. And again, if he were to do that, that'd be a historical win, because
it'd be
he would
insane.
be the only person to ever win 5.
AJ come out and shake his hand right then and there.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, immediately. Now, again, I still think AJ is the GOAT of open wheel.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
and not only that, he opened so many doors to crossover between stock cars and open wheels, and how having drivers be participating in both series rather than just kind of exclusively as one, because he was a great stock car driver too. So, but long story short, that Indy 500 is an exciting time around here. It's a big deal in Indiana. It's and it's a big deal to the race fans around the country.
Awesome. Well, yeah, and I remember I used to. I'll just say this before we move on to the Coca-Cola 600. We used to watch it all the time. My parents had gone a couple of times. I've never been there, but you know, I would watch it again because my dad watched it, and he kind of stopped watching it when. I mean, you know, because this back in the 80s and 90s when it was, you still had a ton of American racers, and I mean, you know, and they were the ones that were some of the top racers, and then it kind of became more international, and now it seems like, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like pretty much everybody in the field is from a different country, and he was like, you know, if I can't pronounce their names, I have a hard time watching it, you know. And I was like, all right, he's 43 when I was born, so he was from like 3 generations, you know, separated from me. But yeah, so I haven't watched it in years, but I'm gonna check it out.
I would argue to say that I think it's a sporting event that if you can ever attend once in your life, you wouldn't regret it.
Sure.
And the thing is, like, the thing is, like, it doesn't even have to be like a super, like again, Ben's seat that you were talking about is a really good seat, and it probably wasn't cheap. However, I mean, if you can get into the assigned seating anywhere in, like, let's say the like coming out of turn 4 or going out of turn 1, anything also from turn to, like, the entrance of turn 2 to the exit of turn 2, those are all nice seats, and a lot of them are not expensive at all. You can get a seat for $75.
Okay,
so
nice.
Yeah, again, when you're selling, you know, 350,000 tickets.
Yeah, true. Yeah. All right, so let's look at the Coca-Cola 600. Any thoughts on Ben? We'll start with you. Any thoughts on that one, and who you think is going to be winning that race?
I wish I did, but I have no opinion at all. So I'll pass.
Okay, we'll go. That's all right. Hey, TJ doesn't even know what basketball is, so at least you know what racing is. You know, I mean,
that's true.
You know,
that's
all
true.
Right. So yes. Charles, what are your thoughts on the Coca-Cola 600?
Oh man, it's a fun race. It's a long race. I it's not going to surprise me if Christopher Bell wins this race. He has been on fire this season. He tends to like to win races in a row, and so he's coming off of this All-Star victory. But look for Larson. I mean, look, he's going to have 500 miles under his belt before he even gets there, but you cannot count him out at all at a track like this. And then my dark horse is and I'm not saying this just because he's one of my favorite drivers, but
Yeah, you are. Just
no,
admit it. Yes, you
because look, because he's had a really strong season for the most part, and he's starting to look good again. But Ross Chastain may pull this one off, may take the one car. He's going to battle for it. And then I hate to say this, but Denny is always a factor. So we'll see how he does. He hasn't looked as great this season as he has in years past, but I never count him out either. But Christopher Bell probably, I think he gets his 600 on this weekend.
Okay, Brad, your thoughts?
I mean, shoot, Kyle Larson's been a top 10 machine this year. In addition to 3 wins, it's 25% of the races this season. You're 12 races in, 3 wins. But yeah, so I mean, he's killing it on points, and so yeah, I think that I don't know that whole 1,100-mile goal. It's a tall glass of water. So I'm not sure I'd be comfortable going with Kyle Larson to win this race. Maybe finish well, but not win. I also agree with the Christopher Bell, Denny Hamlin. The both of them are looking pretty good right now, so I'd go with one of those two.
Okay, TJ.
There's multiple ways I could go with this race. First off, being on Amazon Prime, I think this is going to be kind of fun to watch because not a lot of people. There's a lot of people who don't have cable or people who just go off of streaming services, and the fact that I feel like everybody has Amazon Prime at this point. So this is going to be, for one, this is a great race to start off Amazon Prime. And if this truly goes the way it does, maybe they'll start showing more races. So I think they have like a 6 race thing for them on here. So it'll be fun. But I think for this race, I kind of agree with Charles on this one. Kyle Larson is going to be coming off of 500 miles. The last year's Coca-Cola 600, he did the same thing where he did the Indy 500. He came to Charlotte. I think he only missed like 5 laps. It wasn't a
lot.
He missed like, I think 5-10 laps. He got in the car and won it. I mean, he's already in that mindset of racing. So I think, honestly, Kyle Larson, I think he has this wrapped up as long as his mind is in the right spot and he doesn't mess himself up in the IndyCar race. My one racer that I think could be kind of scary would be William Byron. He's kind of hit and miss. He's hit a roller coaster, but he's been pretty solid, and they're projecting him to at least have a 50% rate or 50% chance to have a top 5 finish. So I could see him doing that. My dark horse is Austin Cindric. I think he needs something to really kind of put himself over right now and kind of back up what he did last year. I think if he gets this one, he should do really well. I would like to say my favorite racer would do something, but he ain't done shit besides hit a wall and finish top 20, maybe.
Is that Joey?
No.
Bubba Wallace.
Austin Dillon.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, he's not having a great year. I like the Cindric call. It's a good dark horse. It's just this isn't the type of track that he excels at. He's more of a super speedway and a road course guy.
I agree with you on that one, but I don't know. I just feel like this year with the the new generation of cars that they've been racing for what I think 2 seasons now, 3 seasons. Everything is by the driver.
Yeah,
And I
it's
feel
much
with-
more even.
And I feel like with Cindric being able to progress how he has, it should be good. I mean, everybody's on the even playing field. Even some like the unknown guys, I can't really say Ryan Preece is an unknown because the motherfucker flipped like 7 times at Daytona. But it's one of those things where some of these lesser
That's
known
like
drivers,
Michael McDowell and stuff. Yeah.
these guys could come up and do something crazy. But I think if we're going to put a name on who's going to win it, I think Kyle Larson. I think Hendrick Motorsport just has some type of cheat code there at Charlotte.
They do. They've been running that track ever since Jimmy. They really have. That low speed, that is the house that Jimmy built.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we move on and do our 4 minutes.
Monaco Grand Prix.
Oh, okay. If you want to comment, I wasn't sure if anyone had any thoughts on the Monaco Grand Prix. So
I have one.
Go ahead, Charles. Go ahead. Yeah.
I know McLaren is the favorite in this, but I don't think that Oscar wins it. Lando Norris to take the win early Sunday morning.
What time is that race on?
9 o'clock Eastern time.
9 o'clock Eastern. Okay. All right. So I'll have to be watching that while I'm giving plasma. So
And Chili Dog for the Wiener 500.
I was looking up, trying to look up information. Yeah.
DraftKings has
I
got
know.
a free contest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cash prize of $10,000, I think, or something like that. So
Yep.
All right. So why don't we go to anyone else have any thoughts on Monaco Grand Prix? Otherwise, we could wrap it up here with our 4 minutes on high. We've been going for an hour and a half. So
Hey, if you're up though, that's a really fun race to watch. That is a
Monaco
street
Grand Prix,
race.
yeah.
It is cool. It is very cool race.
now, wasn't that the one that Tony Stark was in Iron Man 2? Was that the Monaco Grand Prix?
Mm-hmm.
And then when what's his name came out with the whips or whatever. Anyway, all right. So sorry, I'm getting tired here. Brad, why don't we start with you? 4 minutes on high. Do you have anything you want to get off your chest? Anything you want to talk about here?
You know what? I guess one thing I can actually say is that this year, that just in a personal sense, that I made a small career move, taking a new job, and it's been turning out freaking amazing. I've been working with some great people, and a lot of the students I work with have been great too. I'm just super thankful for it, and at the same time, simultaneously, I've been working my ass off, so I'm ready for school to end next Friday.
Next
That
Friday.
way, that I can be on vacation for the next 2 months. So
now wait, is this new school that you're at? Is it the same? Because didn't the last school you were at, is it the entire state of Indiana that does like the year-round?
No, it's all based on school district and how the school board decides to run the calendar.
Okay, so is this one that you're at now? Is it more like a, I guess,
it's similar to the one I was at with the balanced calendar, where like every fall break, winter break, spring break are all 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then in the summer, we still have an 8-week summer between like basically the end of Memorial Day and the end of July.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that all was working out for you. I know you were stressed and yet excited about it.
So that's I'm hot about that right now. Nice, that's nothing but positivity right now. So it's been great.
All right, Ben, let's go to you here with a little. We're gonna save Charles for last year. We're gonna go to okay, here we go.
Look, I left you guys with a mic drop last week. I'll be a little more serious this week in terms of how I'm approaching this thing. Like I said before, I'm thrilled for Spurs. We finally got a trophy to put in the trophy case. But I'm going to shift focus here for a second for my 4 minutes on high to Napoli. My hopefully Serie A champions tomorrow. They have a game against Cagliari tomorrow with a chance to clinch. Our manager, Antonio Conte, will be watching from the stands as he is suspended. They've missed their chances the last 2 weeks to clinch it, but they have a chance to get unreachable from Inter and win Serie A this year. So hoping that Napoli will put that to bed. I can enjoy another trophy for my soccer fandom this year. Also want to throw out some props to Borussia Dortmund, another team I follow closely, for making a hellacious comeback late in the season. They were mid-table most of the year. They had to fire their manager mid-season, but they fired back from like 11th position to get a Champions League position 4 in Bundesliga this year, despite really, really poor results and form early in the season. So I'm high on soccer right now. I'm excited to hopefully get another championship tomorrow. So there we go.
Nice. I will say for soccer, I'm excited that my AFC Richmond team finally got back up into the Premier League. That's a little Ted Lasso reference there. I'm sorry.
So
folks.
on that topic, I'm going to take one more minute if you will, I can. My son was down after his baseball game today, and I had to quote, so you know what, Kane, you know what the happiest animal in the world is? And he was not having it at all. I'm like, dude, take the example here. The goldfish is a good example for a reason, buddy. Just embrace the goldfish.
Damn right. You know, yeah, that's. I just finished season 2, by the way. I don't know if have the rest of you guys seen that show.
Oh, I've seen it. I've watched the full 3 seasons at least 3 times.
Yeah, I have another. One of my best friends said the same thing. He's like on round 3 of watching that whole thing. Brad, have you seen Ted Lasso? You watch Ted Lasso? Oh,
You're muted.
You're muted, Brad. I think
I don't have Apple TV, so I can't.
Oh, okay. Well, if you have a chance, if you ever do get a chance, it is amazing. I was a holdout because everyone kept talking about it, and I was like, no.
Yeah, it's not for lack of wanting to. I just don't have the service for it.
Gotcha. All right, TJ, we're gonna bring you on now for your
Gaming.
Hi, there you go. You have the floor, my friend. Go ahead.
King me. He says king me.
King me. So I have 2. First one is I want to give a massive congratulations to the Naval Academy class of 25. Those guys are troopers because they came in kind of like on the tail end of COVID and they dealt with all that. So it's been awesome watching a lot of these people that I remember. I mean, I think 2 kids from the high school that I went to are graduating. So it's been awesome to watch that. The second thing is, if you guys have not done it, I posted it in our group chat, and everybody who watches this, go watch the Blue Angels. It is probably one of the best shows you will ever watch. July 19th and 20th, Aaron, Ben, go. I'm telling you, they're headlining the air show in Milwaukee. It is going to be the best show you will ever see. They've put in some new aerobatic tricks this year. It kind of looks the same, but it's just so much fun to watch. It's a great time with the family. It's a tradition here, being the Naval Academy, and you know it's awesome. I love it. So if anybody gets a chance to see the Blue Angels, do it. You will never regret it, and you'll probably be a lifelong fan. For the time that I've been here in Maryland, I think I've only missed it 5 years. But since I've been with my wife, we've gone every year besides she didn't go the year that she was pregnant with our son, and that was it. We've gone every year since. And it's like 14 years. It's amazing. And a big guy like me, I'm still like a little kid, and I'm taking videos of them when they fly over. And I'm just like, dude, that's so cool. Like, I mean, kid in a candy shop. It's just so cool to see blue shiny jets flying around doing things that you wish you could ever do, and you're like, yeah, I could definitely do that. And in the back of your mind, you're like, yeah, no, I'm gonna say oh shit and take off.
Yeah, we've gone to see them a few different times when they've been at EAA in Oshkosh. That might be what you're talking about, TJ, in July or whatever, or maybe Milwaukee has a different show, but EAA is usually in July, I think, or July or early August. I mean, that's one of the world's biggest air shows, so that's usually where they're at. But yeah, they do a fantastic show.
I'll look it and
okay, here I'll put Charles up here, and then while you're looking at that, TJ. All right, Charles, you always got something good here, buddy. What's
all right. So I've got like the late great Jim Irsay, I have fought my own demons. So I do not have a beer in the house, but I do have my bottle of water here. And the sports and entertainment world has suffered and is mourning some great losses this week. Some tragic, and well, some well deserved. I want to talk about 4 of them. We're going to pour some out for our dead homies here. The first is any bit of respect that anybody could have left for Angel Reese. Ooh. Pour some out for that. You have now been dubbed the Queen of Flops. You dumb asshole. Keep your mouth shut. Leave the acting to the actors and just play some ball. You're never going to be as good as Caitlin. Get over it. You suck. And I hope they take you off of that damn cereal box. Our next death in sports and entertainment world was any momentum or hope the New York Knicks had of winning this series. We'll pour one out for them too. It's always good to see a big fish fry. Another one, dear to my heart, though. Norm. The world did lose. Mr. George Wendt. My favorite celebrity that I ever shared a birthday with. Cheers was a classic show, and he was a classic comedian. And for that, I truly, truly do pour one out. You will be missed, sir. And then, of course, Mr. Jim Irsay. Mr. Jim Irsay was responsible for some of the greatest Colts teams that I had, chance to watch and see. Brought us our Super Bowl champion. Brought us our king, our sheriff, Peyton Manning. Many, many stories I've heard of people saying, look, Manning could flop, but Irsay, not one to be wavered by other people's opinions, stood his own and made sure that we got Peyton Manning. He was a man who, like myself, struggled with demons. He had his faults, but he was a seriously caring individual. And there's stories all over the place of how he has reached out and helped people. His philanthropy was just incredible. Not to mention that he was a great owner for a football team. Some teams have shit owners. While he had some stuff going on in his personal life, I truly believe that he always had the best intentions at heart for the Indianapolis Colts. It's a tragic loss for the city. It's a tragic loss for the franchise. But he's leaving us hopefully in very, very good hands. His daughters have been around the team for a long time. And I think that they'll be very capable GMs, but sad that Mr. Irsay died in his sleep yesterday afternoon. But kudos to you for having enough money to still get to be able to take naps in the afternoon, sir.
Now,
Cheers.
just real quick before I do mine here, getting back to Jim Irsay. Was he sick or anything? I saw he's only 65 years old. Was he sick?
So
Or
in December, the jury's still out. There was maybe another possible overdose, and he was out of commission for several weeks. I mean, you didn't see him in the public or anything, and they said that he had a respiratory illness.
Yeah, he hasn't attended any owners meetings.
And I was about to say his daughter was there.
NFL events for the greater part of a year.
I think Miss Foyt was there for the meetings.
Yeah.
okay.
Which if y'all didn't know, one of his daughters is married to AJ Foyt the fourth.
Oh, really?
AJ Foyt's grandson. He's also a scout for the Colts.
Wow.
Aaron, I found the 2 that they're coming to. Chippewa Valley Air Show and then the Milwaukee Air and Water Show.
Oh, okay. I'm surprised they aren't going to be at the EAA. So,
One more thing.
yeah, go ahead.
Fuck the Dodgers.
Preach.
Okay, I'll make mine quick, and then we'll wrap this up here. This wanted to make a comment on this, and my opinion is probably going to differ from a lot of people on this, but I really don't care. Tomorrow is the last episode of a show on ESPN called Around the Horn, and I've heard a lot of people talk about all the memories, especially sports talk guys, talk about the memories they've had with it. And I'll say this, good riddance. I'm glad the show is gone. Never have I seen a show with so many blowhards that thought they were more important than and knew more than everybody else. And Around the Horn may have had its place. And by the way, I do like, is it Tony Reale? I believe is his name, the guy that is the host of the show. I do like him. I think he does a very good job. But I could do, with the exception of maybe a Woody Page, someone like that who's been around, I think, almost since the beginning that the show has been on. I could do without some of the new younger blood who just comes in there thinking that they know more and are more important than everybody else who has a sports opinion, frankly. And when people talk about some of the memories they have of the show, I'll tell you what my memory is. My best memory is watching the show. And I did watch it just because I was hoping, to get some opinions and hear some of their thoughts. There's another guy on there that is on there every once in a while that I really do like, who does a lot of NBA stuff. And Frank
Isola.
I can't remember his last name. Thank you, Frank Isola. I think he does a great job. And I know he's on PTI quite a bit too, and he fills in for some of those guys. But my fondest memory of it, or my most vivid memory, is the day after Aaron Rodgers did his infamous immunized press conference when he talked about COVID, and was asked by Ryan Wood, the Packers beat reporter, if he had been vaccinated. And everyone was losing their minds in the media about when they found out that he actually hadn't technically had one of the vaccines, but he had some other cocktail and everything. And the reason I watched the show is because I was hoping at least one of the four would have the guts to actually say what I had been thinking the entire time, which is, why is it anyone's damn business to begin with? There was a time in the media when they actually had enough class and enough decency to say, you know what, medical questions, unless they pertain specifically to like a player's injury or a player's performance on the field, medical questions are none of our damn business. Nobody ever asked any players if they got a flu shot. Nobody ever asked a player if they'd ever been treated for STDs, because half of them sleep around all the time anyway. No one ever asked them anything like that. But apparently we all lost our freaking minds and lost any common sense that we had left when COVID came around. And that bothered me, I think. And that it was at that point when I was like, I'm done with this show, because every single one of them basically said the same thing as the other one did, which is, oh, I can't believe he would lie like that. And, oh, he owed people the truth, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, just shut up. Anyway, now I'm Brad, did you want to say something about that?
Ready to get it off your chest.
Yeah. I had to get it off my chest. That was just, it was driving me nuts. Anyway. So, all right. So anyone have any big plans for the weekend for Memorial Day?
Watch a whole bunch of racing.
Going to the lake, watching racing.
Yep, watching a whole bunch of racing at the lake.
Nice.
And maybe get some, hopefully it'll stay nice, get some fishing in and drink some beer.
Oh, I meant to tell y'all too. I got to give a little update to one of my former 4 minutes. Thank you, Netflix, for picking up and saving Sesame Street.
I was about to ask you if you saw that
in 2026. Yes.
Yep.
Yes, I did.
Nice.
My son is going to be binging the shit out of that, and I probably will be too.
Heck yeah.
Ben, how about you? Any big plans for Memorial Day?
In Minnesota, actually, for a wedding. So.
Oh, nice. Okay. All right. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap it up here. Everyone have a safe and a enjoyable Memorial Day weekend. If you're spending it with family, going places, travel safe, get back safe, and we will see you here next Thursday at 8:30.
See ya.